What's up, everybody? It's your boy John. Just want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Jump on Cooking this week. Today I'm going to be doing one really big video, and I'm going to try and split it into three smaller ones as well, because I'm going to be showing you guys my famous 3-hour pasta sauce, which is really amazing to put in anything. Today though, it is going in a lasagna. And then the other video, besides the lasagna and the pasta sauce, will be me showing you how to make a really awesome bechamel that you can use in a bunch of different cooking dishes. But today I'm going to use it instead of a ricotta cheese mixture in my lasagna. Alright, let's jump in. Alright, first things first, I have the pot that the sauce is going to go in. This is the pan for the lasagna. We got lasagna noodles, salt, pepper, a really nice olive oil. We got 3 different types of tomatoes, all from Cento, all Italian. We got a passata, tomato sauce. These are peeled whole San Marzano tomatoes. And we also got tomato paste. The cheese and everything that's going in is we got fresh mozzarella and some Parmigiano Reggiano. You got to get the real stuff, I'm telling you, it's better. Some bay leaves. This is oregano right here, some Italian seasoning with a lot of oregano. Got fresh basil, Italian parsley, celery, onion, carrots, and I got some fresh tomatoes as well that I'm going to put in the sauce because I feel like it gives it a really nice depth of flavor. And as for our meat, I've got some ground chuck. I'm going to use a pound of this. This is a 2.24 pound package. I'm just going to use about a pound of it. And then I'm also going to use this sweet Italian sausage. Alright, let's get started. First, we're going to start off with cutting our onion. Alright, we're going to finely dice our onion today. And we are using a French mixture of ingredients called mirepoix, which is onion, carrots, and celery. That is going to be the base of our sauce. In Italian, it's called a soffritto, which means softly fried, I believe. And that is because traditionally in French cooking, mirepoix uses butter. But since we are making Italian food, we will be using olive oil. You know, if you're making Italian food, you have to have a really nice olive oil. It is essential. Alright, now that our onion is nice and chopped up, let's start on our celery. Essentially want everything but the heart. We don't want to use the celery heart in this. Alright, all the celery is nice and chopped up. Go ahead and throw it in with our onion. Alright, next we are going to chop up our carrots. Alright, the way I like to do is to come down and split them in the middle. And I like to take that and split it again. And then from there, I will chop it. All right, and our carrots are going to cook down along with our celery and onions in the sauce, and they are going to give us a really nice, subtle, and natural sweetness that counteracts the acidity of the tomatoes. Now, you'll see a lot of people online saying they add sugar to their tomato sauce or their pasta sauce whenever they make it. If you make a mirepoix, my bad, then you don't have to do that. You get the sugar from the vegetables rather than having to add a concentrated form, a refined sugar, and you get a complex, deep, beautiful flavor in what you're cooking. All right, we're going to take our pan and put it on medium-high heat. We are going to come in with our olive oil. And then we are just going to let this come up to a heat, and then we are going to add our vegetables to it once it gets hot. All right, our olive oil has come up to a nice heat. We're going to go ahead and put our vegetables in. And we are going to start our sofrito. You got to make the hand gesture. Otherwise, you're not actually doing it the Italian way. Give that a little mix, and we're going to hit it with a bunch of salt. And we're going to hit it with some black pepper. And give that a mix. While our sofrito is cooking, we're going to come get our garlic ready. Give this a stir. Alright, now that our garlic is all nice and peeled, we are going to mince it up really finely. Alright, garlic is all nice and minced. Over here and check on our sofrito. Starting to get a really awesome smell. Starting to sweat out beautifully. Just need to cook it a little bit longer. Want to make sure that our onions are translucent is what we're looking for. Translucent onions. You want to be able to see through them. That'll let you know that you've sweated your vegetables enough to start adding all of your other ingredients. After the vegetables, we're going to go in with our meat. Well, before the meat, I should say, we're going to go in with the garlic. But then the meat. Alright, our sofrito is almost ready. The onions are almost translucent. It's almost cooked down enough to where we're going to throw in our garlic. And then right after our garlic, we will put in our meat. You see how the onions are getting to where you can see through them, how they're almost clear? That's what you're looking for. And all these vegetables are just going to break down inside of our sauce when we slow cook it as well. It's going to give it a really amazing flavor. Going to build a really complex, rich, subtle sweetness, umami flavor, as the Japanese would say. I think we're ready for our garlic. Remember, you don't want to add this at the beginning. You always want to add it right before you start putting your meat or other things in, because garlic is really easy to overcook and burn. And if you do that, you lose all of its flavor. And you don't want to lose all the flavor of your garlic, so then your dish isn't going to taste as good. Oh my gosh, it smells just amazing. We're going to let that go for about a minute, 60 to 90 seconds or so. And then we're going to start adding our meat in. Alright, our garlic is starting to get really nice and aromatic. I'm going to go ahead and put our ground beef in first. Break that up a little bit. Then we are going to remove the casings from our sausages. And then once we have the cases off of our sausage, we're going to take them, just kind of break them up straight into that sauce. And then once we have all our meat in, we're going to brown it down. Once our meat is nice and brown and incorporated in the sauce, we're going to go in with our tomatoes after that. You can make the pieces also as big or as little as you like. Personally, in my meat sauces, or like when I use ground beef or ground pork or anything like that, I like to have kind of chunks because, I don't know, I just like the texture. I like it when you get that nice meaty bite in what you're eating. Some people like it really finely ground. You're welcome to do it however you like. Whatever is best for you, whatever you enjoy. That's typically the best way to cook anything. We'll give our hands a nice wash after touching all that raw meat. Right, and I'll catch everybody in just a minute. Once our meat sauce is nice and browned down. Alright, our meat is nice and browned down. Got a really good color on it. So it's time for us to come in with all our tomatoes. First, I'm going to use the tomato paste. Gonna get that nice and mixed in. Alright, then our tomato sauce. The passata. The rest of that out of there with a little water. Same with this one. Right. Then my personal favorite part is, since these are whole tomatoes, we gotta crush them. Best way to do that is just grab them and squeeze them right into the pot. If you don't break up the tomatoes, they will not dissolve as well in the sauce and do what you want. You might get some chunks. Won't be as good on the palate as if you would crush them yourself. But this makes you feel like a kid again. It's pretty fun getting to crush some tomatoes. Okay, and we're also going to come in with our fresh tomatoes. We're going to mix that in. And then we're also going to put our herbs in. I just need to chop them up while this comes up to a boil. We're going to get our basil and our parsley and our oregano in here. And then we are going to let this simmer on low for 3 hours. You could do it less than that if you want, but you're going to get the best flavor by letting it go a little bit longer. Alright, our sauce has worked its way up to a simmer. And now we are going to put our herbs inside. This is basil, parsley, and thyme, all fresh. Throw that in there. It's going to give us a really nice, fresh, herbal note to the sauce. And it's just going to bring amazing balance to it. A couple bay leaves. Also going to put a little more salt in there. A little more pepper. And then we are going to put our oregano. We're going to give that a nice stir into the sauce. Alright, we are going to bring this up to a nice simmer. Put it on a medium-low heat. And I'll see y'all in about 3 hours. And we're going to give it a little taste test as well. And make sure you stir it often, maybe about every 15 to 30 minutes. Alright, it has been a little over an hour and a half into our 3 hours. And we are going to give our sauce a taste after we stir it and see if it needs anything, like a little more salt, a little more pepper, anything like that. Get it all nice and stirred up real quick. You can see all those veggies breaking down and The herbs and got all that nice meat in there. Right. I do think it needs maybe a little bit more salt. Small amount more pepper. Give it a nice little stir. And when this is ready, and a little bit longer, it is going to be amazing in our lasagna. Looking forward to it. See y'all in a little bit. Alright. Now I am going to show you guys how to make a really awesome bechamel that we're going to use to layer in with our lasagna. Now you can either use this, or you can make like a ricotta, egg, and parsley mixture. Both those are really, really good, and they yield a really awesome result for your lasagna. First thing we're going to do is melt 4 tablespoons, which is a half a stick of butter. And then once that's melted and heated up, we are going to add in our flour. Alright, now that our butter is all nice and melted, we're going to come in with a half a cup of flour. We're going to build our roux with this. We're going to start around for a few minutes until the raw flour taste and smell is gone. Alright, our raw flour smell is gone. It's got a nice toasty smell to it, and we're going to come in with our whole milk now. Going to do about 3 cups at first. If we need more, we can always add more. Come and stir. It's going to incorporate all of our flour and butter into the milk, and it's going to thicken up as it gets warm. We're also going to go ahead and add some salt and black pepper. Grabbed a whisk just to help break up the flour inside of the sauce. Make sure you keep your bechamel stirred. If you leave it alone and you don't stir it, it can burn really easy. So you want to make sure you pay attention to it and keep it moving. Alright, you can see as our bechamel is warming up, it's starting to get thicker and thicker. And that's what we want. I think a good way to think of it is it's essentially like French gravy. Like gravy kind of evolved from bechamel. Maybe a little bit more salt. A little bit more pepper. Honestly, we can turn the heat off. We got a really nice thick consistency now. Test on the back of our spoon. See how it coats it like that? It's nice and thick, and that's what we are looking for. Alright, my lasagna noodles are ready. Turn the burner off. We're going to drain the water. Then, in order to stop the cooking, we are going to put cold water on our noodles. Alright, it has finally been 3 hours and our pasta sauce is nice and finished. I'm going to give it one final taste test. Beautiful. It's going to be amazing in our lasagna. Alright, now let us start building the lasagna. Alright. First, we're going to come in with some of our meat sauce. We're going to put a thin layer on the bottom for our noodles to rest on. We are going to start grabbing our noodles, layer it on top of there. Make sure you dry your noodles. You don't want to put the wet pasta in there. And try and get as much water off of it as you can, or else everything's going to be slipping and sliding, and you're also going to end up with a bunch of water in your lasagna. Cut that down to fit it right in there. Alright, and then on top of our noodles, we are going to put more meat sauce. Then on top of our meat sauce, we're going to start putting our bechamel. I almost forgot. Need to get out my mozzarella. Top of our bechamel, we are going to put a lovely dusting of Parmigiano Reggiano. And we are going to start coming in with our nice sliced mozzarella. Alright, then we are going to repeat our steps again. Going to come in with the pasta, dry it off. And I like to do it the opposite way of what I did the first layer. So I'm going to put them on this side first. Put that. We're going to layer it in just like that. Right now we are going to repeat again. Come in with our meat sauce. Then on our meat sauce, we're going to go in with our bechamel. Alright, now more of our Parmigiano. Now we are going to put more of our mozzarella. Alright, and now for our final layer. I spilled my sauce. Alright, all the rest of our Parmesan. Alright, here is the lasagna right before it goes in the oven. Just wanted to give you guys a preview of it. Got that last layer of mozzarella all torn up, the Parmesan and the bechamel all on top. We are going to put this in a 375-degree oven for about 30 to 45 minutes. And I got it on a baking sheet just in case it bubbles over a little bit, because it is full. But it should be ready in just a little bit, and it's going to be delicious. Also, I just wanted to point out, I do have a bunch of my sauce left, and you need to come back next time to see what I use it for. Alright, it's been about 45 minutes, and our lasagna is looking amazing. Oh yeah. Alright, let's get a plate ready for the wife. Alright, baby, let us know what you think. This one. Qué rico. Alright, let's give it a try. It's absolutely amazing. One of the best things I'm able to make. Amazing dish if you take the time to do it. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches. If you enjoy it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you'll be able to keep up with me weekly. Be able to put out at least 1 to 2 videos a week from now on. So hope you guys look forward to it. And y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.